Garrett Blevins here with an overview of week 3, day 3, and also week 4, day 1. You'll see here that there's some squatting in red. I had some really bad lower back pain in this workout. Not really an injury, not anything that happened on one rep in particular, but just kind of a general fatigue. You'll see that the overall volume for the day was about 74,000, and I think it said something like 45 for the barbell work on that day. Here's the rep breakdown for the week. So here's the lifting from the day. Really, when I was unracking the weights, I just felt my lower back was kind of funky. Talked with my coach at TSA, Hani, after this workout, and he thought that it was probably something to do with a fatigued QL muscle. I went back through and did a volume breakdown of what I did in the last training cycle and what I've done so far in this training cycle, and looked at the sets, reps, and volumes in comparison. And what came up was I was doing about, I would say about half the barbell movements that I'm doing in this training block, though I was doing them with a little bit heavier weights. What that means is you see a lot of 6x6s in this training cycle, whereas in my previous training cycle, I would maybe do a 6 sets of 3. And so I would be doing a little bit higher intensity for those triples, but I would still be doing 6 sets. Almost never did 6 sets of 6, and if I was going over fives, I was probably doing only 3, maybe 4 sets of 6, maybe 4 sets of 8 tops, and really that only a few times. However, on this training cycle, I'm doing volume-oriented training all 3 days instead of having the daily undulating periodization that I had with the cube cycle. And so this block periodization really puts a lot of the volume up front, which I think my body was able to withstand as far as soreness. But I think some of the fatigued smaller muscles, that fatigue just built up and outstripped my current recovery ability. Now that said, this is why it's so important, I think, for you to have training logs. When you modify training, you need to be able to look back and see, if you're more beat up than you were before, you're having more aches and pains in certain areas, or if you're getting hurt, or you're, verging on injury. You can look back through a training log and start to identify some of these things. For me, I can look at both the additions of conventional deadlifts, which I'm not used to, and then also the increase in volume as something that's probably contributing. Additionally, I had been ignoring some of the cues that I use on squats. I had almost really forgotten some of the things that had worked well for me, and have spent the last few days really rethinking my squat setup and how to achieve both neutral spine and bracing. You'll also see on this day, because my back was kind of messing with me a little bit, I was sinking down deep and then pulling up into the deadlift, and this felt much more comfortable and also quite a bit less taxing on my lower back, because I was able to achieve some tightness in my hamstrings before initiating the pull. It's always important to use, whenever you get a little hurt, beat up, or even have an injury, use that as a learning experience. In fact, I injured my back 2 years ago. It was the last major injury that I had, and was out for probably about a month and a half. My back had completely seized up on me. What it ended up being was most likely a pulled hip flexor, but it was extremely painful, and it came when I was doing some conventional deadlifting. However, that led me to move to a sumo stance, and when I did that, I had tremendous increases in my overall strength. Every time that you have an injury or you get hurt, that's an opportunity for you to learn and become better. And that's what training is all about. You don't have all the answers up front. You have to test things out, see what will happen, and then make adjustments from there. Again, that's why if you're not recording your workouts, you're making some big mistakes. So here's what I came back with. I ended up working up to 2 sets of 405 on squats, and had 0 pain. Again, I wasn't injured last week, just kind of hurt a little bit. That's kind of how I describe that. Took an extra day off. Then I did my normal incline presses. Had a slight increase on that this week, up to 285 for the top set, and was able to do all of my conventional pulling, and actually pull more conventional than I've done at all in this training cycle. And then finish up with some floor press, which was down this week, and some barbell rows. I also noticed that the croc rows, since there's some twisting in those when I do the full body one-arm dumbbell croc row, that was aggravating my lower back a little as well. And so that could have been contributing to the fatigue without me really realizing it. maybe some of that fatigue showed up on squats, but could have been contributed to with the croc rows. So something for me to pay attention to. Here you see I had straps on this set. My hands were getting a little beat up, but this was 545. It's got kind of a weird number of plates put on there with 10s and 25s. But this moved all right. I was happy with it. I brought my belt in another notch. I'm weighing exactly 231 in the mornings right now. So my weight is down slightly, and I do think that I've been losing some body fat and putting on a little bit of muscle through this training cycle, which is great. Happy about that. So I wanted to put up this proverb. I've put it up before. For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. And what this speaks about is, you know, as you go through life, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to run into walls. You're going to have issues that come up that will bring you down. And if you want to be the type of person that's righteous, if you want to be somebody that is successful, that does the right thing, you're going to come back from those difficult situations. You're going to learn from them, and you're going to be better moving forward. So I'm going to work with my TSA coaches, work on my programming, work on my recovery, work on my form as well, and get through some of these issues and come back as a better lifter. I'm looking to return to kind of normal training volumes by next week. I'm going to take the rest of this week easy on squats, but still try to push where I can and see what I can get to as far as numbers. Also, the next training block will be coming up, which was the end of this high volume training. To begin with, this is the last week of high volume. And so you'll be seeing some changes in the next block of training. Still should be volume oriented, but with more intensity and also less overall volume. So in any case, hope wherever you're at, you're doing well. Thanks for watching. Blessings.